Hi, and welcome to another episode of We Hate Skill Windows, the podcast about hating skill windows. This week we are covering Academy's Undercover Instructor. Wait, is that what it's called? Or is it
Yes,
Academy's Undercover Professor?
Professor. Oh yeah, you're right.
I don't
Heavily
know.
instructed must have
I
corrupted
must have
us.
either looked at. Yeah, I might have. Oh,
Star
shit.
instructor.
Either that or I looked at webtoons. I don't remember. But you know what? You know what I'm. You guys, surely
Yeah,
you know what
yeah.
I'm reviewing. That's fine. Wait, is it Professor? Am I that dumb? Hold on, did I make a mistake so early? It is. Fuck. Okay, anyway, I'm Rai.
I'm Chris.
Yeah, and let me just change that real fast. I didn't see anything. This has always said Academy's Undercover Professor. Anyway, hmm. This one's solid. It's got a very good art style. The characters are interesting. However, possibly shallow they are. They are interesting. Um, it is a power fantasy, but technically, it's do we give it points for not being a reincarnation regressor one with Gates? I
Oh,
feel like if they break free from that mold, they're already miles ahead of people.
it
It sucks
certainly
to
got.
say. It sucks to say, but there are too many out there that are like, oh, well, it's the year 20XX. Monsters started flooding out of gates created in the sky, and together, humans with superhuman strength were created. Those who were awakened were called hunters and possessed the strength of 100 men. And thus I began my journey in the tower. Like, how generic can you be? So at the very least, it's not that generic. Main character also isn't like 17 or something. He's had time to like mature his shit. I feel like it's almost fair that he's strong. I don't know if that's something you would agree with. But
Yeah,
like I feel like his I don't know, his age is like ambiguous, but I would assume he's like in his mid 30s or something.
I think he
Oh,
was
oh
like
wait.
26 or
Actually,
something.
hold on. He did isekai though. I forgot
Yeah,
about
yeah.
that.
He
I forgot
he
about
was.
that. He was an
That was
isekaier.
the weird.
Fuck.
Uh,
Oh,
he
you're
was a
right.
freaking.
He was like an office worker who died due to like an accident.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
freaking
then he
I
woke
don't
up.
even know why they even mentioned it because it's like not relevant at all.
For a
But
brief second there, I almost
Isekai.
deluded myself into thinking that this was not one of those. Oh, it is an
In
isekai one.
fact, they like drop a bunch of like I don't know like seemingly relevant points. Like his mom was like the shaman, and she
Yeah,
like thought he would be.
that it the first like 4 or 5 chapters don't make any sense. Uh Not only the isekai part, like why even isekai him? He could have just been magical and I'd be fine with that. But instead they were like, oh, but what if you were like magical and isekai? I don't know. But speaking of like the first 5 chapters, the intro, the train bit, the train arc, shall we say? Uh, very confusing to read through. Really confusing. Not very understandable if you are not familiar with like the source material. I sort of I read Academy's Undercover Professor first, and then I went and read the web novel. Web novel wise, first chapter very clear. You know that Rudiger Chelsea, or well, you know that whoever the fuck Gerald or whatever his name is, the old man. You know that that's our protagonist. Reading the web comic, you don't know that that's our protagonist. It seems like the original Rudiger is our protagonist, and it's framed that way fairly cleverly, but also very stupidly. Like I feel like if they never had like the old man take off his skin mask and shit, I wouldn't have known, you know?
Mm.
And it was also really like bizarre. Like they sat down across from each other and like started talking about the war. It's like, huh? Uh, the first time I read it, I just thought it was really weird. The second time I read it, I was like, wait, are they like speaking in code or something? You know? Like, is this like an exchange between like spies? But then I was like, no, maybe not. Oh, yeah, speaking of spies, uh, I have a opinion about this one. I think the whole first order, second order thing that they've got going on is really dumb, and I sort of wish they would just stop.
Like, what do you mean by that?
I I just want I just want like Akashic records, but like without the harem. just I just
I
want him
see,
to
I
be
see.
a
Okay.
professor. I don't see why he has to be like involved with like
The po
all
the
the
secrecy and the
yeah,
I
especially if
I
it's
agree.
not even his identity. What?
Th I think what drew me
Hmm.
into the story initially, though, was because he, like, fell into, like, the biggest mess ever.
You like that he
Like,
fell into the clusterfuck and
I it was an interesting premise, but I agree that as you read the story, like, it gets really messy really quickly with how many things are just happening all the time.
like so. Not only is Rudgear or what as we know him, Rudgear. Not only is he currently pretending to be part of the First Order, which is part of another group that's like trying to take over the underworld or something. He is also part of another society with Hans, which consists of roughly 10 people, where they have some sort of ulterior motive.
Yeah, they're trying
Uh,
to do something.
they're trying to do something, and they came to the capital to do it, but we don't know what it is yet. And then he creates like a black society on top of the former red society to serve as like a shop front, essentially. Uh,
Get money or something. Ugh,
yeah,
yeah.
and then he is also trying to make sure he does not get on the wrong side of the Chancellor's faction. And then um, he's also trying to
Being
evade
investigated by the
the
police.
authorities. Uh huh.
Yeah.
And then he is a professor.
It's just so much
It's
crap, like, what.
incredibly messy. I really want to love this thing. I do. I really want to just give it a 10 out of 10 because the art, first of all, art is really
So
good.
good. So
I
good.
it's I don't know why. It's like fairly unique feeling. I don't know how to say it, but um it feels like the like artists or artist just like put a good amount of like thought and care into actually drawing everyone. Like even a lot of the random people in his class, at the very least, they look like people. Like like even if some other like web comics they'll have like classrooms of 100 people, those are not people. Those are mannequins. They are like dad's models imported in and just like sat there. A lot of people don't actually like try to make the effort to actually draw a lot of those like panels that you would probably see once or twice. But here we are with like pretty visually stunning like rendered interpretations of magic and all that. I find that very very good. But the characters are well, Root Gear is just he's just like how the fuck is he not overwhelmed? Oh yeah, I forgot. He is also suffering from a mysterious illness and or side effects
Yeah.
and must take random
Yeah.
pills at random times of day. Seemingly when he uses magic, but also just occasionally, cause why the fuck not? And his pills are the same
Yeah.
as Hans? Are they
Or I
both?
think Hans
He's
needs a different thing. He needs, like, some sort of injection into him.
no, I thought Hans said at some point like, "I'm glad that the pills you have are the same as mine" or something. The medication.
Oh, yeah,
He
actually?
he
Oh,
said
frick.
something like that one time, but yeah, no, he does require injection to change back. But I wonder if like they're both sort of like maybe they're like human experiments or something. Not quite
Yeah,
sure.
I guess.
Yeah. Also, like this man really isekai to a different world and was like, all right, what sort of like high fantasy names can I pull from this shit? Van Helsing, Moriarty, like Moriarty or whatever you pronounce that. Like, I would not be surprised if he also went by the names like Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny in, in like previous incarnations. Like, oh man, you're really like taking advantage of this whole new world to just use these names, huh? Like his past identities.
Uh,
And no one suspects a thing because apparently this world with magic, magic that can do almost anything, uh, cannot differentiate faces. Their technology is not advanced enough that they would know how to tell a fake person from a real person. It's inconsistent, is what it is. But yeah. All that aside, I listen. I just want Akashic records again. I, it was so cool. The bastard instructor was so nice. And then they were like, ah, but what if he had like three girls who were after him? And what if one of them was like seriously underage and was shown in very provocative scenes all throughout the anime? And what if they were getting hostage situationed and oh, and then what if we introduce the knights that used to work with him, and oh, one of them is like a fucking lolly, but she also really sort of likes him for some reason. Why? Why Japan? Why? Just have the man
Japan needs the
teach.
lollies. They need to all
Japan,
like be in love with him.
Japan and China both, I guess. Why the fuck Chi
Yeah.
Chi so popular, huh? She's a dead lolly too. What the hell? Fuck's wrong with you people? But I mean, hey, listen, I'm not wrong now. Chi Chi, Klee, you can talk all you want. Oh, but Kalee's like a daughter to me. Fuck off. You know what she's here for. She's here to be cute. Some people might see that as a daughter, but I'm sure some people simp over that shit. People are fucked.
Uh,
Oh shit, did I? Surely I didn't swear in the first minute of the show. Oh,
no, we've been here for at least 10.
yeah, we're here for 12 minutes. Yeah. Fuck, shit, fuck. Okay. But it's fine. There are I there's no lollies in this yet. It's all good. Power fantasies usually don't have those characters. They die too early. Everyone dies too early. the, the only people that don't die are the ones in the Chinese webcomics where they're like, well, you're pretty, I must keep you alive so you can sire me healthy children or some shit. Uh, or if Luo Wuji is protecting you, then you'll have a harem nonetheless. Did you see the latest chapter of it? Or not the latest chapter, but like a
No.
few chapters, like a good 10 chapters after we reviewed it. He like takes all the people that he takes all the like women that he knows and he's like, come into my room and one by one and then take your clothes off.
What? What?
No, don't worry. And then he puts a hand on their back and he's like, I am now going to send my pure chi into you and I'm going to awaken your innate like martial abilities.
Powers. Oh. I had a favorable impression of Luigi. This is disappointing.
Yeah, and then
Oh.
every girl who goes in there, there's like a section where he places his hand on their back and they like shiver and moan and then
Oh
and
no.
then he like starts injecting the chi and then it cuts to like a scene where the parents are sitting in the living room and then they just hear like moaning coming from the room and then the girl walks out all shy and like wearing nothing basically and then he walks out and he's like, all right, next.
That's kind of funny, actually.
Yeah, and then after he does all the girls,
Oh.
he like has all the like the guys that serve under him do it too. So at least
Yeah.
gender equality, I guess. But it's a real misleading scene. I know they knew what they were doing, and every time the parents have that like shocked face, and they're like, "Oh, you shouldn't have. Oh, who's gonna be our future daughter-in-law? Oh no." But yeah, you know, in terms of power fantasy as well, this one's not that bad. It's not the most fair. Why has this man discovered how to code and inserted it into his code or inserted it into
And
his magic?
magic.
I call
Yeah, it's
this
kind of
source code. I
source
cast this
code.
spell to cast another
Oh.
spell. And I cast this one to quick cast a spell. I've just learned how to toggle on quick cast in League of Legends. Do you know that toggling on quick cast will cause you to use your abilities instantly instead of having to press the ability and then press it again? Crazy. Do you know I played with not quick cast on League for like at least 4 years before I learned? For the
I
longest
s-
time, friends of mine would be like, "Why are you so slow at using your abilities?" I'm like, "I have to like press it, and then I have to like move my mouse over, and then press it again." And they're like, "Did you not know you can quick cast?" And I was like, "Huh?" And then I tried it out, and it felt so foreign. But now I can't even imagine like playing with not quick cast. I would feel like I was like in pain. I don't know if
I
you
s-
just started with quick cast though.
I don't use quickcast for certain abilities, but
Ah,
uh,
you're one of those tactical players. No, Unga Bunga is the way to go. But don't tell a certain other person we play with that our Unga Bunga synergy is really bad.
oh
It's a different type of Unga Bunga, I suppose. Mine is very I don't give a shit about my life. I'm going in, whereas his is for some reason cautious and also fuck it at the same time, but only to his benefit. Yeah, styles. Let's let's rate it for the sake of your timing, yeah?
all right, let's do it.
All right. Art. Well, that's a 10, isn't it?
I'll give it a 9.
I'm giving it a 10. I genuinely do believe it has really good art. And I don't know exactly how to put it, but it feels really like unique to see. It's almost like, like reading Barbarian Quest. The story could be a bit faster, but I mean, like, the art is insane.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying Academy's Undercover Professor is on that level. In fact, I would not say it is. Uh, but it's definitely like a 2080 graphics, whereas Barbarian Quest is like what the 3090 or whatever that's out.
Mm,
Like one of them just has like insane graphics, but the other one is like still very high, you know?
yeah,
And in
yeah.
the horrible world of trash that we live in, that's pretty fucking good. The story. Okay, so the story's not bad. I don't like how cluttered it is. I don't enjoy how weirdly okay. The author I haven't read like full disclosure. I haven't read the full web novel, but I have read like 10 chapters. I don't know, but I don't understand why this author has decided to cram so many story elements into the same thing at the same time. You don't have to do
Yeah.
this in order to make it interesting. I would be fine if he was just a fucking professor. I would have been fine if he was just here to teach. I just want a cautious records again, but like good, you know. Cautious records found me once. This one surely won't fail me again. Besides, he's not gonna fucking like bed Flora or some shit. And if he does, I'm dropping that shit. Swear to God. If anything, he seems to know the like silver-haired girl, but they haven't really talked about it. But
Yeah.
the like the one with like a unique magic or something.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like that's I there he knows too much. We don't know shit. Even as the readers, we don't know what he's planning. We don't know what the fuck he and Hans call and talk about. We don't even know what the Chancellor's plans are. It's really hard to understand what the hell's going on at any really given point. I just want him to give more stupid lectures and be like, all right, so this is a spell I call Hello World. And when I cast it, it instantly transmits a message that can be seen. Like, I just want him to like teach coding 101 or something. Wait, you think he uses like for loops and whatnot? He has source code, right? So if he's already casting to cast, or he's like casting to quick cast, right?
Yeah.
Couldn't he then like? Is he just gonna do more coding for the rest of his things? I I don't quite
I think
understand.
it's just the name. He just calls it source code. He doesn't actually like.
No, in one of his other theories, it was like some other scientific sounding name though.
Oh yeah, he had like the one that looks like a weird snail. Like, hypertropin isometry or some random crap with some like geometric sounding crap.
No. I got you. Chapter 31: Coordinate Assignment Formula.
Oh, I hate how he talks about that like he understands that we understand that. Like, he
Wait? Is it
just
a
says
computer
the
science
word.
thing? Is this something that's actually real or something?
I don't know. It doesn't sound real to me. Or it probably is, but it's definitely not. It's
uh,
not a common computer science thing at the very least. I just hear it,
yeah.
I'm just like, why does he say these words? Like, it sounds like a business pitch meeting. He's just like spouting buzzwords.
Wait, you think this is like the equivalent of like a wuxia person going to like fantasy society and be like, "This is what I call the Dharma Dharmic sword of infinite wisdom." And they're like, "The fuck are you talking about?" Well, you see, when you use it, you gain enlightenment to the power of 26 cultivation, high grade cultivation elixirs. They're like, "What are you talking about?" But yeah, his coordinate assignment formula is like just him, what, like casting a spell using not the caster, but using anyone as a medium or some shit.
Something like that. Who
Yeah, it
knows?
just seems like he can like spontaneously combust people. I don't know. I mean, surely people have thought about doing that before, but do you know? He's a genius apparently. I don't fucking know. Also can use 10 elements. Wow, what a cool lad. 10 elements? There's 10 elements in this world, Chris. Why the fuck are there 10 elements in this world? What are they even? Earth, water, fire, lightning,
Metal?
metal,
Wood?
ice, wood, Naruto, chakra, Rasengan?
Wood.
Like, what are these?
Chidori!
Shit. Uh, Raikiri. Hey, but
Uh,
yeah, I can't wait for the professor to be like, this one I call the Rasen Shuriken. Yeah, and the story, I don't know. It's like just really cluttered feeling.
it's
I
so all over. He's
it's
got so
not
many things
bad.
happening.
I'm like interested in all of them. They all sound interesting, except for the first order. I just don't really care for the first order. I don't care for the okay. I don't. There's no way they're not onto him. Not a fucking way. They're not onto this man being a fake. Then why are they not like confronting him? Why are they still somehow believing in this fraud? There's no way. I don't buy it. Maybe I'll read the web novel and I'll find out that they in fact do not buy it. But so far it seems like he's blending in flawlessly. And I'm like, what? How? How? Don't. Just explain how. But it just yeah, it doesn't feel needed is the thing. I like if he was just a professor, but he's also like involved in something shady, and he also has the mysterious illness, and maybe he used to like go under different identities, and he find someone who knows his past. Cool, that's good enough. You don't need the other like 8 things. You really don't. Yeah. And then I'll say something that'll make Chris probably a little confused and worried, maybe. You're not Denma. You can't do that shit. Denma can.
Uh,
Denma did. And Denma did. Well. Anyway, I'll give it a 6.
uh, I really liked the story in the beginning, but it's just got too much stuff now. I'll give it a 6 too.
Valid.
I liked, yeah.
Right, we got characters. Let's talk about characters real fast here as we talk about real fast about like Rude Gear Chelsea and all that.
Once again, it's got really trash villains, like so one-dimensional. Everyone who's an antagonist is just really, I don't know, not not very interesting. Not explained at all.
No, nothing is quite explained, and nothing really seems to matter. The
Yeah.
investigator apparently got fooled by fake skin. I
Yeah, that was really stupid.
I call bullshit. How the fuck? You mean this man just wears fake skin all the time to throw off anyone off his scent? But then he didn't have the forethought to use something other than fucking fireball to burn down the 2 buildings that were so suspiciously connected? You'd think that the man would have a bit more foresight than that. He uses all 10 elements! Why is he only using fire for? Uh, you know. We're not gonna question it. Maybe he's smarter in the web novel. He just seems a little weird. He's a little too perfect as well. I I don't know exactly if this character you'd call Mary Sue or whatever, but
He's a little bit of a Mary Sue.
he
Yeah.
definitely doesn't feel very organic. He's a little too perfect.
He's a little bit too
He's
perfect. People just
got
like him.
way too many like alibis and like aliases. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, 10 years ago, I was known as Van Helsing, the famous cryptid hunter. And then 5 years ago, I was world's best informant or something. Like, okay, dude, if you were this good, why would you need, what are you afraid of? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't understand it. It doesn't feel quite right. But you know what? I'm just here to read something that is above average. Doesn't matter how much above average, it is above average. And so therefore I read it. And it fills my time. The other characters really don't seem to be terribly interesting to me, like protagonist wise. They're professors. Like I know we're in the sus arc right now, to find like the other first order person, or is it like
Yeah.
zero order or something? But uh, he's like sussing one of the professors. Cool. I don't care who they are. They're just people with names. We haven't seen anyone besides the blue-haired fucker. And apparently he just snuck around a corner and was like, medicine. I had like the thinking emoji. Like, okay. What? You're gonna like steal his medicine or accuse him of like taking steroids? The fuck? Like, it's medicine, dumbass. Like, what? Why'd you have to be all sussy about it? But, uh, the students are interesting, but
All
also
nice
seems like sort of
kids.
convenient, right? Like, Aiden, no magic.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Couldn't have seen that coming. In a world of magic, surely there's someone who is anti-magic. It just so happens that he's a commoner as well. Oh man, it feels a bit too perfect feeling. And I mean, like, yeah, there's a princess and there's stuck-up nobles, and yes, the nobles act like nobles, which is fair. You'd expect them to act like nobles after all. But it's also just sort of like, eh. It sort of feels like Harry Potter, but like, yeah. but with source code. I, I don't know. Every magic school feels like Harry Potter to an extent. I feel like too many people are influenced by that whole thought process of like, here's an academy and you teach magic and you go to magic classes and then you like academy life. Have I said? I have said before. I've definitely said before. I'm not a fan of school arcs. I don't give a shit about school arcs. This one is a bit more tolerable because he's a professor. Actually, speaking of that, I need to watch the one Fate spin-off that's about the waiver as a professor. I feel like that'd be fun.
Hmm.
Did you watch that?
No,
Uh, do you know what I'm talking about?
no, it just sounds there's
Uh,
so many Fate stuff.
fair. Waiver, who was in Phase Zero, was one of the survivors, or was he the winner of that Grail War? But he has like a spin-off where he is Lord El Malloy, and he teaches to students at like the Magic Observatory. Seems like
Oh,
interesting. I'm gonna give the characters based on the fact that there are no real redeeming qualities of anyone else. Well, I don't know. The students are marginally cool. It's a 5. Seems low,
I agree,
and
it's
I want to
5.
love it, but it's. Uh,
They're like decent, and they try to make some of them like, I don't know, intriguing and unique. But there are too many of them in such a
there are
short
too
amount
many
of
of them.
chapters.
Yeah,
Like, they really should just be diving into a couple, but really deep into their like thought process and their stories, and not
you're also giving it a
trying to
5
juggle
then.
all this crap. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's not dilly dally on these too much. That would be 11 plus 9.5, which would be 20.5. Can I do math? I can. 25.5 divided by 30 is 6.83. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not even
It's
mad.
not weird. It's nuts. Yeah.
I'm not even mad. That sounds
It
about par
started
for the
out so
course, huh?
good. It started out so good.
It
Had
I
it.
I mean for all we know in another 20 chapters it might get better. But then it'll become a thing where I'm like, "Trust me, Chris, trust me. In 120 chapters, I actually like the main character." Don't worry, Chris.
Oh!
Overgeared gets good 200 chapters later. You have to just get past the road bump. Yeah, it's called. It's probably not very good to begin with if you have to take 200 chapters to grow to like the main character. It's like reading Hardcore Leveling Warrior and putting up with the main character for that. He's not fun. He's not fun, but at some point he gets a bit more fun, and then you're like, oh, you know, I actually sort of feel bad for you. But up until that point, he's an asshole. Yeah, that's how it is, huh? Well, at the very least, that is the review for Academy's Undercover Professor. Um, we will not be doing one next week, most likely, due to uh, some things that are going on. It's the Global Game Jam. But after that, we'll be back, and then we are going to do, I believe, we are gonna try to schedule
Oh.
out a special episode, uh, featuring a guest. A guest. Crazy.
Woo.
We're moving up in the world. I can't believe I'll have Chris and Chris again. I'll have Chris, you, and then Maxito. Maxito is the guest.
Oh.
Hell yeah!
Oh,
I've never
okay.
met this guy before.
Whoa.
Oh man, I can't wait to have, me, Rai, Maxito, Chris, and Maxito 1 as well. As I get the whole family together. But yeah, no, or I guess it won't be next week, it'll probably be like 2 weeks later, but we'll go and it'll be interesting. We'll be reviewing Solo Leveling next. You heard that right. It's time for the, the grandfather of modern webcomics, Power Fantasies. the, the 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 prodigy son of Power fantasy webcomics. It's solo leveling. Yeah, it should be
Yep.
fun. I am almost joking, but it's. I feel like nowadays, if you had to ask anyone, like, "Hey, what's a mainstream webcomic you've heard of?"
It'd
or
only
like
be
power
solo,
fantasy.
right?
Oh, solo leveling? like
Yeah, yeah.
people know about that too much.
That's factual.
But we'll be doing that. And then we'll see ya. Unless you got anything.
Oh, that's good.
Alrighty. You know what? 35 minutes. Good enough. Let's go. Oh yeah, if you like this shit, subscribe or something. Or don't. Haha, haha, fuck you too. Goodbye.